Okay, so this is George Malik, and we are coming to you again. We're going to do a little work now on doing some photorealistic rendering. This is a pretty simple assignment, so second of two pretty simple assignments. This is really all about doing one of two things. One is putting textures or materials on faces and parts, and then really setting up just some rendering to create some pictures. So again, I'm in my assembly here, and I'm going to start by just going to the render option, and you can see here I have a big light up above, and I have somewhere there's my part, and I have a nice little shadow, so I get that. So I think I might have some materials on this thing already because I was playing around, but I can show you how we're going to set this thing up to do it. First thing is we want to take a look at the physical materials and the appearances. Now, appearances are sort of what we want what it's going to render as. And physical appearances are actual applying physical properties to the materials. So when we're talking about rendering, really we want to probably lean more towards we don't really care so much about the physical properties. What we care about is what it's going to look like. So if you notice up here, I have all these different basically materials loaded up here. Now the library that I operate off of is down here, and if you notice, it has different things to it. So for instance, it has pane plastic. Obviously, this is going to be a lot of metal, and I've got some different aluminum or anodized aluminum or cast aluminum, even a little brass up here. So to apply these things, really all I have to do then is I have to simply take them, for instance, cast aluminum, and I can simply select. And if I don't like that, I can change it to something like that. So depending on what I'm looking for here, right? Satin aluminum would look more like that. So I can take a look and see what are the types of things that I'm looking for. And obviously, you want to stay away from really rough, harsh patterns. To load a material, you can simply drag it from the library up here, and that actually downloads a file to your computer. So you can also click the arrow, and it's downloading. And there it is. And so then you can highlight that, and that seems kind of crazy. So different aluminum or different materials are going to give you different types of things. So for instance here, aluminum nurdled. And that'd be a nurdling kind of thing. So back aluminum polished, and away we go there. Now, right now we have these things set to where it's going bodies and components, which means it's applying universally to that. Now, obviously, there may be moments when you would want to not do that. For instance, perhaps we wanted to do an anodized part to the screw up here. Maybe I want to change that to a face, and then I can simply deal with just the faces of this part that I'm messing with. So let's see here. So I can click off that. Now, if you ever have a time where it's actually not picking the faces, what you can do, a lot of times what you can do is you can merely highlight the part, and you can tell it to isolate the part. And it turns everything else off. Then when you come back to your appearances, and maybe I want to just grab a certain face, right? And now I'm going to come in here. Or body. There we go. So there's that. And it seems to not want to pick the faces, but that's probably okay with me. So there we go. So when you're done picking that, you can tell it to unisolate, and that turns everything else back on. So obviously if you wanted to do something, you know, where perhaps the aluminum or the satin steel here, we can set that there. Something like this. And we see here. There we go. There we go. So you can do this however you want. You can change these bottles to acrylic red. Maybe change that top bolt to brass. So again, you can whatever you want to do. So the goal here isn't that we're all going to make the same. The goal here is to come up with something that you think is going to look interesting and knock yourself out. So, all right, so there we go. And I want to maybe come up here and I'll take this one. It'll be, there we go. All right, so the next thing is we want to try and do a decal. And a decal, you can pick an image and you can use any kind of bitmap you want. Let's see what I have hanging around here. As I recall, well, we could do something like, here's a picture of, there we go, kids sitting on Yeah, kids singing a pumpkin patch. So we can do something like that. And you can pick a face where that image is going to reside. So obviously looking at what are the possible faces that I could pick. Well, maybe not. Let's see here. I have a saving issue here. So decals. You can see there we've attached that bitmap to that face of that washer, which is really not what I'm looking for. For some reason, I'm not able to pick these. I'm not too sure why. I think I may be having a save problem here. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. But okay. Well, if you pick a flat surface, it should be able to add that to it, but obviously we're just not having a whole lot of luck with that right now. No, that's the... Okay, well, you can try that one. Basically what it does is it applies the actual image on the face. But let's not... Well, that's a thought. I might try that. So let's see here. We can try the decal. Yeah, no. Not picking up. Not too sure we'll have a selection problem on that, but okay. So under setup, you can do your scene settings. And this is where it tells you, what your brightness is, what the environment background is. Then you can talk about reflections, roughness, where the camera's going to be located. And obviously, if you've got an environment here, you can pick an environment like maybe the field. Yeah, there it is. So we can kind of get our guy, get our shotgun shell reloader on the dirt road. Maybe we don't want to have any kind of reflections. Maybe that's not going to make any sense. Maybe the shotgun shell reloader will be sitting right there in the caliche. Who knows? There it is. Proud for all to see. And then obviously, once you have that, then you can simply do a render. And let's do an in-canvas render. So the in-canvas render settings is sort of what you want to do it, and the in-canvas render settings do it on your screen. So I can do the resolution to about maybe 75%. And we're going to lock the view. And I can simply hit start. And what it'll do is it'll attempt to render those objects that I have. And you can tell the difference between the polished aluminum, which is almost acting as a mirror, versus the cast aluminum versus the cast aluminum here versus the, not too sure what kind of aluminum that is. But it'll sit there and it'll actually just kind of crank and it'll render out that shotgun shell loader. So your job is to render out the shotgun shell loader. And you can make it look however you want. As fancy or as not fancy as you'd like. Realistic or fantastic as you'd like. No really good or right or wrong about this. I do ask two things. One is that you put up materials in all the parts. And two is that I can see all the parts. So give me at least two different views that you can kind of put together. Or let me say that. Let me make that back. Give me at least one view that I can see, most of the detail on the parts. Okay, so I'm going to pause it, and that looks pretty good. And I'll save that. So I can capture this image and I can save it as a shotgun shell. And I can also save it to my computers. And you can come over here. And if you look under my pictures, let's see here. There it is. And that would be a rendering of it. Probably that polished aluminum doesn't look as good because it reflects everything. Makes it look almost like it's invisible. Not too sure I like that. But that would be what you would attach to the document. Okay? So that is that. Again, play around, have some fun. The only thing I'm asking is that you apply materials to all the parts, and that I have something that has a background to it, and that's rendered, and it's a file. It's a PNG file, tend to be what this thing spits out, and that'll be just fine. So there you go. All right. So that is a stupidly fast thing. Shouldn't be that hard. Hope it works out. If you need any help, Remember to set up an appointment. That's it. Happy fusioning. Bye.